Hey, it's Michelle, the Education and Outreach Manager with A Step Ahead Chattanooga. I'm here to talk to you today about IUDs and implants, of course, but have you ever thought about the myths that come along with those? Myths are funny because a lot of times myths from IUDs and implants tend to be negative, and those negative stories or experiences that other women have had influence or may influence our choice in getting an IUD or an implant, even though it may be the best method for us at that time. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the myths that have gone around that we may have heard, and we're going to talk to our outreach team members here at A Step Ahead Chattanooga about some of the myths that they've heard and some of the things that they think about the IUDs and implants as well. I want to remind you that A Step Ahead is here to educate women about all forms of birth control because we do want a woman to be informed when making the best choice for her reproductive needs. I also want to remind you of the fact that these methods, IUDs and implants, are 20 times more effective than the pill, the patch, the ring, or the shot, simply because it removes the human error factor. A woman doesn't have to remember to do anything with these methods. They are set it and forget it methods. But those methods also seem a little scary because they are long lasting. The great thing is that they're reversible, and that's the one thing that we can remember. And when we know all of our choices, we can make informed decisions by doing that research, by having those conversations with healthcare providers to make the best choice for our lifestyle.
Go first. I'm Akiyana. I'm a part of this team as an outreach member. And so, reaching out to people around the Chattanooga area, inform them about contraceptives, how to protect themselves, and how to get a step ahead in life, of course. I'm a senior at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, studying political science, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I am a member of the outreach team as well. We offer free and reversible birth control methods, and we just go out in our community here and encourage women to be a step ahead, like Akiyana said. I am a senior at UTC. We'll have one more semester left.
So one myth that we hear is that women think if they were to get the implant that it will migrate into another part of their body. What do you all think?
I think I knew that one would move because I had friends who had it, and so I could always see it on their skin. So it's pretty in place.
Yeah, like Akiyama said, you can definitely feel it within the arm, but it does not move to another part of your body. It stays within the same space if done correctly.
As Jillian mentioned, if done correctly, the implant should not shift anywhere. It may move a couple of inches from the insertion site, and that's normal. You should always be able to feel it in your upper arm. There are the rare cases in which the implant has moved from the implantation site to another part of the body. As long as you are checking the implant, making sure it's in that same spot, you should be good. If at any point you don't feel it, make sure that you contact your healthcare provider. Keeping all of those things in the back of your mind when you're going and seeking out an implant. Having a conversation with your healthcare provider is probably the most important thing you can do when finding the right birth control for you. Another question that comes up with IUDs is, can the IUD fall out of my body? What do you guys think about that?
That might be a small percent of people might feel that way. But most women or people who have uteruses can know that things go up there. And it don't really fall out. And I think that the IUD is planted within the uterus itself. So it's stable.
So I really love what Jillian said, that the uterus seems quite stable and can hold the IUD in place and it will not fall out. And while that makes a lot of sense, because When the IUD is inserted, it goes through the vagina into the cervix and is placed inside the uterus, which is kind of like, if you imagine a sock that hugs your foot around, right? The uterus will actually hug around the IUD and for the most part will hold it in place. When you have the IUD placed, your doctor will tell you to come back in 6 weeks for a checkup. And at that point, they really want you just to come in for a string check just to make sure that the IUD is perfectly placed, per se. There are or have been some rare cases where the IUD does what is called an expulsion. And an expulsion is just simply when the IUD shifts, and it could shift into the cervix and into the vagina and eventually fall out. Like I said, those cases are rare. If at any point you feel any uncomfortability within your body, maybe your strings feel a little bit longer, you will want to talk to your doctor about that. How often are you supposed to do a string check? So those are some things to be thinking about if you're considering an IUD. Think about some questions or some fears that you might have before getting your IUD and come prepared with those questions so that you can have them answered during your procedure or while you're having your first consultation. Another question that we hear quite frequently is, will I gain weight with the IUD or the implant? What do you think about that?
Because birth control sometimes can contain hormones, you could, and sometimes with the pill or other forms of birth control, you can sometimes gain weight.
For that exact reason, that's why I chose a myth. So my thought process of it is certain people's bodies work different ways. So it's not guaranteed. It's not the pills or the injection or the IUD doesn't state that you're going to guarantee to gain weight. So that's why I chose myth, because it just depends on the person and the way their hormones are reacting to it. So possibly could, you possibly could not.
I really love what both Akiyana and Jillian said. It is true that hormones may contribute to weight gain, and the IUD and the implant both use reproductive hormones called progestin, and it may cause weight gain. That is a side effect that is listed for both the IUD and the in a case study, there was evidence with the Mirena and Liletta IUD that those two devices, when inserted into the body, released progestin, which kind of had an effect like you would be experiencing a period. So there was some water retention, and a lot of women gained weight from that. So it's not necessarily that the hormonal IUD gives you body fat increase, but that bloating or swelling because of water retention was one of the things that they noticed. But again, some things that they're unable to determine is why it happens, and things for us to think about when we're considering a hormonal birth control period is, what is our diet like? Are we exercising? Has there been a change in our activity? And of course, as we age, our weight fluctuates as well. So a lot of things to consider, and it's not that it can't happen, but if weight gain becomes an issue, both the hormonal IUD, the Nexplanon implant are removable or reversible. And so if you are not satisfied or unhappy with gaining weight, then those devices can be removed. How about this question? Will I return to fertility if I use an IUD or an implant? Have you guys heard anything about that?
Using an IUD or implant, once you take it out, your body becomes automatically fertile again.
Akiyana brought up a really good point. As soon as that device is removed, those hormones are removed with it. And a woman is able to return to fertility almost immediately. In fact, there was a research study that showed women who use long-acting reversible birth control or IUDs and implants showed a quicker return to fertility than those that use the pill, the patch, the ring, and the shot. So yes, anyone who uses an IUD or an implant can immediately return to fertility. And lastly, what about this question? Can teens or women who have never had children use an IUD or an implant? What do you guys think, or have you heard anything?
Yeah, I just always assume that regardless of your age, if you feel that if you feel you're ready to get an implant, regardless of having a child or regardless of even being sexually active, that you can have one. So that's just my thought on it.
So yeah, exactly as Akiyana said, any woman of reproductive age can use these devices. Long-acting reversible contraceptives should be the first line of methods recommended for teens, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. Why? Because these methods are 20 times more effective than the pill, the patch, and the ring, because teens don't have to remember to do anything. And I don't know about you, but my teen requires a lot of reminders. And so these methods are a great way to help teens move forward into their future without worrying about an unintended pregnancy. Women who have never had children, if they are of reproductive age and they want this form of birth control, this is a great method for them as well, because it's 99% effective against an unintended pregnancy. So yes, these methods are great for any woman of reproductive age. As we close up, I just want to remind you that A Step Ahead Chattanooga is here providing long-term reversible contraceptives, IUDs and implants, to any woman in Southeast Tennessee who wants it for free. And we do this regardless of her income or insurance status. As long as she lives in Tennessee or goes to school in Tennessee, she can get these highly effective methods of birth control that are very costly for free. Clients can give us a call at our appointment line at 423-265 STEP. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 to accept those appointments. And also, we have a great resource page at astepaheadchattanooga.org/resources where you can get free condoms, because we want to make sure that you have what you need in order to make those reproductive health decisions. And we're here to stand by you. Thanks for watching.